All right, let's get right into this explainer. Because right now, we are tracking a massive, frankly dramatic shift in global geopolitics. It's June 2026. We're exactly 3 months into a war that, remember, was originally supposed to end in just 6 weeks. And we literally just got breaking news that changes the whole equation. Iran has abruptly suspended peace talks with the US. So a conflict that kind of looked like it was inching toward a resolution, yeah, it's suddenly teetering right on the edge of restarting.
June 3rd, 2026. That is the reality we're waking up to today. On June 1st, Iran dropped a bombshell announcement, putting a hard stop to all negotiations. And man, while the world braced for the fallout, the response from US leadership was, well, it was something nobody expected. We're going to break down exactly how this happened, why an entirely different country is actually at the center of this collapse, and honestly, where this leaves us all right now.
Okay, we really need to dive into this quote because it is wild. In response to Iran just walking away from the table, President Trump did a phone interview with NBC News. He claimed Iran hadn't officially notified the US yet, but then he dropped this line. "I think we've been talking too much if you want to know the truth. I think going silent would be very good." I mean, just absorb that for a second. We're in the middle of an active war, negotiations are collapsing, and the president suggests that going completely silent is the best strategic move.
Section 1. The Lebanon Catalyst.
So to understand why we're suddenly facing radio silence, we kind of have to rewind a bit and look at Lebanon. This conflict actually expanded there right from the get-go. Now, Iran-backed Hezbollah had actually agreed to a US proposal for a ceasefire, and that included a major condition. Israeli strikes on Beirut would stop. The US stance, which Trump declared, was that Israeli forces would not move on Beirut. But then, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu comes out and publicly says something totally different. Israel is going to keep striking southern Lebanon. So you have two crucial allies completely contradicting each other in public. Trump pressed Netanyahu to scale back. The phone call reportedly got incredibly heated, and Iran, well, they're watching this public fracture and decided, nope, we are not negotiating while bombs are still dropping on Lebanon.
And we've really got to snap back to the reality on the ground here, because the human cost of this standoff is absolutely staggering. 1.24 million. That is literally 1 in 4 Lebanese people who are right now facing acute food insecurity directly because of this conflict. You know, this isn't just some diplomatic pause. It is a full-blown humanitarian crisis. We're looking at mass displacement, food prices going through the roof, severe fuel shortages, and just total economic collapse. And remember, Lebanon was already broken by years of domestic crises, and now it's caught squarely in the middle of a regional war. Hezbollah, which is one of the most powerful non-state military forces on Earth, is actively fighting Israel across the border. And it's this exact crisis, this devastated landscape, that Iran used as their ultimate justification to hit the brakes on the peace talks.
Section 2. The contradictory responses.
All right, so Iran walks away. The ball is entirely in America's court. But the messaging coming out of the US after talks were suspended has been, honestly, it's been incredibly tough to follow. Let's look at the contradictions here. Despite saying that silence is good, Trump also promised this. It doesn't mean we're going to go and start dropping bombs all over there. So on one hand, the diplomatic channel is going completely dark, but on the other hand, the commander-in-chief is explicitly promising not to restart full-scale military operations against Iran, which sure is a massive sigh of relief if you're fearing immediate escalation, but it leaves this giant question mark hovering right over the whole strategy. And honestly, that question mark gets even bigger when you look at this. Around the exact same time Trump was talking about going silent, he told ABC News that he actually believed a deal, specifically one to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and extend the ceasefire, was reachable over the next week. Think about that whiplash for a second. How do you go completely silent and secure a complex international treaty within 7 days? Like, which one is it? The truth is, right now, nobody really knows.
Section 3. 24 hours of chaos. If you thought those statements were confusing, just wait until you see the actual timeline of events on the ground. Walk through this madness with me. In the morning, Iran officially suspends the talks. Everything just grinds to a halt. In the afternoon, President Trump gives that NBC interview suggesting the US should go totally silent. But then, by the evening, a regional source tells CNN that negotiations are miraculously back on track. Talks are off, talks are on. All of this extreme chaotic unpredictability happening inside a single 24-hour window. So, why is it so chaotic? Well, it boils down to a core, irreconcilable gap. 3 months ago, the US stated its goal was Iran's unconditional surrender, total victory. Iran, on the flip side, stated they would never surrender. Their goal is literally just to survive with dignity. These two fundamental positions have never been reconciled. A unifying deal that actually gives both sides what they want simply does not exist right now. And that is exactly why the negotiations just keep breaking down and snapping back together.
Section 4. Where this ends. Stepping back from the hour-by-hour whiplash for a minute, we really need to ask the big question. Where does this actually end? Let's ground ourselves with a strictly factual, honest assessment of where this war stands right now, today, June 3rd. The ceasefire? Well, on paper, it exists. In reality, both sides just keep violating it. The deal outline? It's been agreed upon, sure, but in reality, President Trump hasn't signed it. And the peace talks? Officially suspended, but practically resumed just hours later. We're basically living in this bizarre limbo where the official status of the war completely contradicts the actual events happening minute by minute.
$25 billion. We absolutely cannot ignore the cost of this gridlock. That is the massive financial cost the US alone has incurred just 3 months into this conflict. And remember, this is a war that kicked off with a staggering 900 strikes in just 12 hours. The price tag is astronomical, and yet, the fundamental question of who actually wins this war still hasn't been answered.
So, based on all the facts we've covered in this explainer, what's the most likely outcome here? A partial deal. The Strait of Hormuz will probably reopen to international trade. Both Washington and Tehran will be able to claim a political victory to their people. But take a look at those bottom 3 points. The deeper, fundamental issues that actually caused this war, Iran's nuclear program, their ballistic missiles, and regional terrorism, they're going to remain entirely unresolved. Basically, they're just going to kick the can down the road until the exact same crisis explodes all over again.
The Iran war of 2026 is ending exactly how it's being fought, with just intense confusion. Talks are suspended and resumed on the literal same day. Lebanon is burning, and the US president is suggesting going silent. The geopolitical map is shifting under our feet as we speak. So I want to leave you with this final, provocative question based on the volatile events of June 3rd. Looking at this incredibly unpredictable timeline, do you actually think a deal is going to happen this week? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep your eyes on the data.